BlackList podcast, brought to you by our title sponsor, Sodium Fishing. All right, we're back with season 2 of the Flats Class podcast. We call it the BlackList. And today's guest is Jeff Harrell, or El Jefe, with your wait staff, kitchen staff, and friends. But he's number 38, the Barfly. How long have we been friends? Seems like a long time now.
Very long time. Longer than Barfly existed.
Yeah, before Barfly.
Yeah.
I think the first time I met you, you were doing lots of art. You were probably working at the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was the career back in the day.
That was the career back
Yeah.
in the day. So, I mean, very noble.
Starving artist as well.
Starving artist and avid kayak guy. I
Yeah.
mean, you loved kayak fishing. In fact, that is one of the things that got us introduced in a more personal way is you were one of the officers in that club at Bill Jackson's Adventure store in Pinellas County. And you had me come speak in front of the group a couple of times.
That's right.
Like once or
That's
twice
right.
a year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I even did a seminar that you came to.
Yeah, I think so.
And you might have learned something.
Yeah, probably did, especially if it's kayak fishing, because I can't stay in one. That's for dang sure. Well, today we're here at one of your 2 stores. This is the Palm Harbor Barfly, and I got to say, this is the first time I've ever been to this one. I know it's been around a while. I always go to the OG, the Safety Harbor store.
Yep.
But really cool vibe here, in downtown Palm Harbor.
It's a neat spot. Yeah, this November 16th was the year that this spot was open. So it's been we've gotten through the first year of it.
Yeah,
It's been pretty cool.
It's and it seems like this place is always busy. We were wondering if we could even do this out here. We thought there'd be so doggone much crowd noise.
I have good security.
So, tell me this. So, how long have you really been in Tampa Bay? Because when you were at the Sheriff's Ranch, you were living up near where I live.
Further north, I came to the Tampa Bay area. I was offered a position with the youth ranch that they created for me. It was a regional director of recreation, and that's what brought me to the area. I've been in the state of Florida about 32 years.
Wow,
So,
long time.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a native.
Sort of.
Yeah, kind of.
There. Yeah.
Kind of. But when you moved to Safety Harbor, that's one of your patrons right there. I think that one's been overserved.
It's loud out here.
When you moved here to Tampa Bay and you started fishing this area, what was the big draw? I mean, I know you kind of mastered that upper Tampa Bay area, but what was the real draw?
The fishing in this area I loved, even though it can be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Living in North Florida is tricky. You get your redfish and your trout, but once you throw in snook and tarpon in the mix, that changed my life.
Yeah, that was a game changer for all.
I got a taste of tarpon, and it ruined me forever. I couldn't live anywhere else unless they had some tarpon.
Knowing how well you do know that upper Tampa Bay zone, because there used to be serious schools of redfish up there, like hundreds of fish in a group up there. It was just crazy.
Right outside Barfly.
Yeah, just right and just right outside Barfly. And because when you first started Barfly, I was thinking, what is Jeff doing? What is he thinking here? Because that was a very small footprint that you had in the downtown area, and you were only doing apps and basically microbrews and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was a watering hole for serious fishermen.
Yep.
A big in fact, most of your clients were fishermen. Guys fishing, walking across the street and coming in there to drink a couple of beers, get some awesome apps, and just hang out and talk and shop.
I'd say probably 90% of the business during the early years were just the fishermen. We were catering to them, and until the public found out that we were doing some of the food that got famous, then everybody started piling in, like, what is this place?
Yeah, because I look at it and I see people here that visit the area because this is such a, really a magnet for tourism. So you have people from all over, checking this place out, but they have no idea really that the DNA is fishing. Because when you walk into one of your places, you don't know who you're going to see there.
Yeah.
And there's going to be fly fishermen there. There's going to be skiff enthusiasts there. I mean, there's always people that paddleboard fish. I mean, that's one of the biggest things about your brand is it's a legit brand with anglers. I mean, you even have a store, selling things, flies and paraphernalia, that outdoorsmen are going to buy. So with the Barfly Outfitters shop,
we have the shop with the brand. We felt like we built a brand name with everything. Like you said, the fishermen, they know it's the spot. And we wanted to concentrate on getting out there to fishermen worldwide. Most anybody traveling that's in Florida, they look up where Barfly is in Florida, and if they're near Tampa area, they're making a trip to go there. They have to go there. It's the who's who.
That's right. It's a must stop.
It's a must stop. It's like the famous watering holes you see in the Keys and stuff like that, and we put that on
Alabama Jacks and Sloppy Joes, Barfly is
Lorelei.
Yeah, Lorelei. Yep. People kind of put it in that ilk.
Yep.
And when I lived full time in Pinellas County, it was absolutely my favorite watering hole for sure. And I spent enough time there and did enough social media that I would have clients that I would say, "Hey, I want to go to that place that you hang out at," and they didn't know that I literally lived 30 minutes from your Safety Harbor store because it was a good 30-minute ride up to you. Yeah. But they didn't care. Yeah. They wanted to have the experience and just the food is, I mean, I'll let you describe the food here because the food, it's different. It's not what you would get in the typical, what I call Florida food joint that's along coastal places. I mean, you've got some unique things here. I mean, what would you say is the number one food entree or an app that people really gravitate to here?
Probably one of the number one favorites. A lot of the fishermen will get this, but just the regular folks out there as well is probably like the lobster grilled cheese or something like that. We do a grilled cheese sandwich that has chunks of lobster meat on it, melted cheese.
Make a note of that, Cameron. I'm having one of those right after this.
You need that. Melted cheese with lobster meat and butter on Texas toast, and then you get a side of some lobster bisque to just dunk that in.
So do you put a Lipitor taped to the side of the plate or anything like that? Any statins or anything like that?
Man, it's super good. Like you do that, you don't want anything else. I mean, cold beer to wash it down is always nice, but that's probably one of the number one
item menus here.
The food in general, we did a playoff of things. We have a seafood nachos on there, and that was something else that was pretty strange. And I remember we were creating that with a few of my chefs, and it's basically a playoff of our famous Barfly fish tacos. It has mahi on it, some shrimp, purple cabbage, pineapple salsa. When we were creating that, I said, you can take everything that's kind of in this taco and put it on nachos. Yeah. And everybody looked at me like I was a little crazy and thought, you're going to put fish on nachos? You're going to put shrimp on nachos? We need to go with the traditional, some queso and jalapenos and pico, and we did it completely opposite, and it worked. It's a favorite.
When Blondie comes here, it's her absolute favorite. Absolute favorite.
Yeah, super good. Super
absolute
good. So those are some of the popular items on there, but I think we've taken like some of the popular old Florida kind of seafood items and put a twist on them, a little bit of a Caribbean twist. My wife Celeste, Miss Barfly, if you are on Instagram, Miss Barfly. Yep. So her and I have traveled, from different places, and we just get inspired from our travel. The travels to Belize and Cayman and even down to the Keys and New Orleans, North Florida, different areas. Anything we eat, drink, it just inspires us to create.
Yeah, you're like a sponge, and then you're like, well, if we did it just a little different.
Put twist on it.
Yeah, the Barfly twist.
What if you take this item and, add it to this other item and take that and mix it all up? And people don't realize that you probably do this, and a bunch of people, when you're sitting eating places, you're like, this is really good, but, honey, can I get some of your sauce? And so we just took and put that all together and said, you know what, we're going to pick the right sauces. We're going to pick the right items that doesn't seem like it would work, and we're going to make it work.
Well, you've done a hell of a job. In fact, there are still people, for those of you that don't know, for the first 10 years of the show, there was a period there where we would do our premiere at your Safety Harbor store.
Yep.
Before we'd ever launch the show on network television, we would do a private viewing of the first 3 episodes, and it was always a closed, invitation-only event, and it was at Barfly Safety Harbor. We usually did that about 30 days, 3 weeks to 30 days before the show started airing.
Yep.
And
that was about 6 years we did.
Yeah, we did that for a long time.
Yeah.
And then with the advent of digital media and stuff, and we started putting stuff out at different times, then it started not making as much sense about having a premiere. But now we're starting to think, well, we could have a party. We could just have a party and do it. So I'm not going to say it's going to come back, but
I'm always down for parties.
But,
I don't know if you know that. I'm
you have a reputation for that.
Well,
but
anytime.
I could see that absolutely coming back.
I think it'd be fun.
And us doing that once again. Because,
we always had a good time with it.
Man, those were good times.
Yeah.
And I still have people to this day say, oh man, you invited me to that invitational. I want to go back there so much. And it really got a lot of people really turned toward the Barfly. And you guys have done such a good job with the artwork and just, I don't know what to describe this place at. It's kind of like Lorelei, kind of like almost kind of like a Tijuana Flats almost. There's so many different things here, except for you guys got the best alcohol around.
It's good.
You guys have a great drink menu.
That always helps with things.
Alcohol always helps.
Yep.
I mean, if you guys have never stopped by here, you got to stop on a Sunday when you have the Bloody Mary bar. Your Bloody Mary bars are ridiculously good. It's a meal.
Oh, you can add all the stuff in there. We have crab legs and oysters and all that, and we had to twist it up with the pandemic with the buffets and safe things. But we came out with a new way to create it now, where instead of everybody piling up and walking up there together and loading up their Bloody Mary, we have a list that's kind of like a sushi menu, and you get a little pencil and you just check everything.
Them all
and
off.
You can add oysters on it. You can add all the good stuff. Pick your vodka. Pick your mixes on there. Olives, if you want an olive, you want a stuffed olive, pencil it all in, hand it into your server bartender, and then we create it for you. That way it's COVID safe and legal. I think it's legal. I don't know. I'm not sure. But
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
We
no.
do. You make your own rules here at Barfly.
But it is safe. It is safe, so that you guys know it is completely safe. The legal part, I can't. I can't make promises.
There'll be some type of disclaimer that you have to sign when you come to the Barfly.
Yeah.
So I know there is an underlying, because for years there you were selling skateboards also at Barfly.
Yep.
And I know that's part of your, kind of your DNA, the skater stuff.
Yep.
Explain some of that stuff, because a lot of people would ask me, it was like, I noticed he's got a painted skateboard in there. What's that about? And I was like, well, there's many sides of Mr. Jeff Harrell.
There's all kinds of things there. I used to skate back in the day and skated ramps and pools and all that, and I did that for probably about 17 years.
Really?
I was really into it. It's interesting now.
Any injuries?
Oh yeah, I have a lot. Yeah, I think I asked a friend of mine that's like a physical trainer, and I asked him the other day, joking, and I said, "What? When I walk up the stairs and it sounds like there's this
clicking,
like this big bottle of BBs in my right knee. Is that bad at all?" And he just looked at me and said, "Oh man, So unfortunately, the skateboard injuries still haunt me. It's very hard to kneel down and bend certain ways and all kinds of stuff. It's tricky. Plus the old age.
I was going to say, age does that to you.
Yeah.
I mean, because Barfly's been in existence how long now?
The Safety Harbor location is going to be 9 years in March.
I knew it was getting close to a decade. So is there going to be one hell of a party thrown for the 10-year anniversary?
Of course.
I would imagine
we throw a party every year, but the 10 is going to be a big one.
It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be fun.
And you guys do some really cool stuff. I mean, you have drunken fly tying night, which I always thought that was freaking hilarious. That's
a good time.
One of the best times ever when you guys were doing that. Poonfecta, your tarpon gig.
Yep.
That was always a great time.
The events were just we wanted to do something different, put some twist on things.
You guys had some really. You guys did the fly fishing film nights. You hosted a few of those.
Yep.
And it's just not guys just about fly fishing. But if you're a fly fishing enthusiast, you want to talk fly fishing, Barfly's place to
You
come.
wouldn't be here.
I mean,
that's where our heart is.
That's
but
where that's where the heart and soul of this place is.
We welcome spin guys and bait casters. I mean, we have you here, so
So
it's
I mean,
okay.
they
the
get
other
down
one,
the gutter every once.
the
in a
other
while.
one, the other ones we accept, but it's mostly a fly place.
Yeah.
And then the Drunken Feather fly tying you mentioned that we did take on tour, which was kind of cool. The concept was, which you've been to a few.
Yeah, you got to share the concept because that it's almost like watching Food Network for fly guys, because that's what you do. You give them like an Iron Chef type of, I guess, challenge.
Oh, there's all challenges in it. We've created a bunch of these challenges. I don't think we've written any of them down, but they're all up here somewhere in there. And when we were doing these, it was sort of a twist off of a fly tying night. We didn't want to do a traditional fly tying night. We felt like there's the shops out there that do this with the
That's right. So you didn't really want to compete with those guys and hurt them.
The classroom setting, which is great, and they have instructors, and that's a perfect spot for it. With us, doing it, it's in a bar, so we don't need to have this instructive, fly tying classroom.
Plus, there's distractions.
Thing. There's distractions, like we have kids crying, and we have beers and
people dropping beer mugs, and
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
so let's twist it up. Let's give them challenges, make it fun. Some of them had to go outside and collect things. We did one that was like a nature thing, and they had to go outside and grab leaves and berries and cigarette butts or whatever they can find and tie a fly with it.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
And oftentimes the bobbin was a beer can.
That's one of the challenges was a beer can bobbin, and that was your bobbin. We gave you a beer can that was full. You could decide to use it as your bobbin tool.
It was awesome.
And you can do it with a full beer, or you can drink it. It's up to you. We're not going to tell you how to do this. So, maybe some guys thought if I drink it and then crush it down a little bit, I could wrap the thread on it and it could work a little easier. But
yeah, I saw a lot of guys going with that method.
And
a lot of guys.
They were frustrated. They were frustrated.
Yeah, they were frosted too.
Well, yeah.
The other thing that was cool is you would put those flies in the ceiling of the original store. You guys had them. You guys would put them up there, and people would say, "Do you know you got that stuff in the ceiling?" And then you'd have to explain it to them, and it got into another conversation.
It's still there. We have so the newer location. We moved over there like 5 years ago. And the newer spot, we walked some of those tiles down because we felt like it was
cool.
We popped the tiles out of the ceiling, walked them down, because these are guys that put in time, that won that night with their winning fly and have their name on there.
It's like beer league hockey.
We had to do it. We had to have them there. And they appreciate it. And you walk in there, anybody can walk in there now and look up in the ceiling. You're going to see all kinds of crazy flies.
All right. Well, the first half, believe it or not, went by super quick. That was 20 minutes, just like that.
Wow.
So I want everyone to stay tuned. Go get a refreshment, if you will, because we're going to.
Grab us some beers.
And get ready for the second half of the BlackList podcast with El Jefe here, the barfly.
All right.
Number 38. Appreciate you listening to another episode of the BlackList podcast. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Sodium Fishing Gear, at sodiumusa.com. All right, we are back with number 38, the barfly. Jeff Harrell here in Palm Harbor. So, first half of this podcast was fun to do. Now the second half, I've got some surprise questions for you at the end, but I want to know, I mean, this business truly is a family affair. It's you and your wife. You guys pour your heart and soul in this. You guys are driving the bus 6-7 days a week here. I mean, you've got some great staff and some great managers that handle a lot of the heavy lifting now. Yep. But from day one, you and Celeste is really, I mean, carried the water here, and you still do. I mean, you guys lead by example, and I mean, do you see Ethan working here one day?
Ethan's put in a few days. I say days because he likes to pick and choose.
He's still a kid.
Yeah, he's 12. He picks and chooses the days, though. I can't get him on a regular schedule of anything. But when you get him here, he's a machine.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a baby born in a bar business, you know.
That's right.
And he is a machine. He works it, and the wait staff tip him out well because they see how good he is. He's just bringing ice to the bar without them asking, and he's just all over it. So
it's good to
kind of cool.
It's good to see him get a little bit of a work ethic and want to be something that, you know, because I know he's a daddy's boy for sure. But to see him, you know, take an interest in it, and who knows, you know, if you learn how to work it from the back door to the front door, then it makes it a whole lot easier to take the reins over one day, which leads me to another question.
He'll go straight to the top, though.
To another question.
Uh-oh.
Is there ever an opportunity, a chance in the future that you would either franchise Barfly to let it, you know, get its wings and go anywhere, or you expand to places that you would have never believed 9 years ago that you would go to? I mean, because I know you travel a lot, and I know you know the zones where this vibe, this feel, this type of food would definitely do well. There's a lot of places that would love. I see people try to copy what you do. Yeah. I mean, they emulate what you do. Do you ever see that happening?
I do. I get asked all the time, like, we need a Barfly in the Keys. We need a Barfly in Miami. We need a Barfly in St. Pete. We need a Barfly in Blue Ridge, Georgia. You know, everybody that is experienced.
But they do. They
do. They probably do. What I tell every one of them when they ask me that is, well, if you put all the money, I'm going to show you how to do it, and then you run it. That's it.
I'm telling you.
It's a franchise deal, but that would drive me crazy because
you wouldn't have your control. And you're a micromanager.
I'm not. My staff will probably tell you differently, but
I already talked to them. They said you're a micromanager.
Probably. You know, Celeste and I both have like just such a solid idea of what the whole vibe and concept is of Barfly in general. We just know it. We live and breathe it.
Well, and this is true because Jeff and I are friends on a personal level outside of our business dealings that we've always had, and the reggae music that you hear here, the excitement about, you know, going to your place and, you know, because you have the secret clubhouse in Homosassa, where you know we do Bloody Marys and we have get-togethers, and a lot of the stuff is just inspired stuff that we do here, and we have friends. You have friends up there, and
you probably feel like you're in a Barfly.
You feel like we actually call it Barfly North because I mean we're still playing ring toss, we're still playing darts.
Yep.
We're still talking fishing, and oftentimes we go fishing and then come back and hang out at your place. Yep. So, I mean, I know you guys live and breathe it. It is a lifestyle for you.
Yes, definitely.
And so it's like you never really get away for it, except for at your house, we don't give you any money, and everyone here pays you.
Yeah, it's nice when you're at our house. You're like at a Barfly, but you know no one's giving you the bill at the end.
That's right.
So
that's right.
And Celeste works it like behind the scenes, just like she would
just like she would here,
opening for the day.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a great feeling.
She loves it. We call her the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, she's definitely that way. She loves the whole vibe and everything that goes
above and beyond.
Yeah,
I mean,
we all appreciate it.
You do a Bloody Mary bar at the house, and it's like, wow, is this the giant buffet? How many neighbors are coming over? You know, it's. So
I'll tell you what, when we're there eating it, we appreciate it. I mean, even the one time we came over there, I think it was the day after Thanksgiving, the kids were shucking oysters.
Oh, yeah.
Both Adam and Jessica's son, Landon, and your boy Ethan, they're out there shucking oysters. I was like, man, that is a awesome upbringing.
Yeah.
Where you're shucking oysters day after Thanksgiving in a beautiful setting, because you got that place that you guys are there. You know, you overlook the salt marsh and everything. Yep. It's just gorgeous. How you like to fish?
And they love to do. I think somebody paid them a few extra bucks for some oysters.
For shucking them.
But they enjoy doing it. You know, that's what's nice. But Yeah, no, I love it up in Homosassa. It's great up there. I would love to have a little barfly spot up there.
I think you guys would fit in beautifully up there. Just selfishly, I'm saying that because I'm just saying.
It would be a lot of fun.
If there's any marketing things I can help you out with up there, I'd
All
love
right.
to be a part of it.
All right.
And all I'll do is pass those off to my son because he's the marketing genius over here. So that's interesting. Now, something, everyone knows I'm a Pilar guy. I mean, and I've been a Pilar guy now for a couple of years, and I relish that role, I may not be the most interesting man in the world,
but I job of it.
But I drink as much as the most interesting.
That's good.
So we had a rum dinner at the Safety Harbor store, I don't know, probably a month and a half or so ago.
Oh.
And man, I'm telling you, I was so impressed with the way you guys did the oyster pairings with the rum profiles. And when I was, Captain Chris Whitman from Captains for Clean Water, he was there too.
Yeah.
And when him and I were sitting next to each other, we're like, good God, this has got to be something new here. They've got to be doing this because this is ridiculously good.
It was amazing.
Just off the chain, remarkably good. And I've been to these types of dinners before, but that was you guys absolutely nailed it.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
I have to thank the team for that.
Yeah.
And we have a solid team behind the scenes that sometimes you give them a little and they just knock it out the park.
They did.
And it's incredible.
That was a home run. For me, I go there and the Pilar rep Kyle is so good at making you understand why the rum has the color, the fragrance, the taste, the aftertaste. I think when he first met me, he thought I was a pretty sophisticated aficionado, if you will, of rums, and I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not. I just like to drink rum.
But you are now after.
I am
after
after he's tutored me. Of course I am. I mean, the thing that cracked me up the most was I'm at one of those rum dinners, and he goes, now take a sip, and I just turn it all the way down. And he looks at me, but don't drink it all because we need to. And then I reach over and I took my wife's, and I'm like, yeah, I like this stuff.
It's not a shot. I want you to sip it, and then I'm going to talk to you more about the rest of it.
I want you to understand why the rum looks the way it does, smells the way it does, tastes the way it does. And the stuff's amazing. For the money, Papa's Pilar rum, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now you have
one of my favorites.
You have another relationship with Sweetwater Beer, like you are the guy for them, or you have been in the past. I mean, you guys were selling Sweetwater before anyone was really selling 420 Sweetwater.
Just our co-branding with them. It was part of our concept, really. When we started, we thought, how do you create a fishing bar? What's the beer to be the brand that's a fishing bar? And I spent a little time fly fishing in North Georgia and North Carolina a little bit, where Sweetwater's in Atlanta, so they're huge in that area. And I was familiar with the beer. Their tap handle is a rainbow trout that's just so recognizable.
Yeah, everyone sees
the guys in the brewery are all super fishy dudes. Freddie Bench, the owner founder, is a avid fly fisherman, and these guys that's what they do. So us creating a fly fishing bar, it just made sense.
Yeah,
it just made sense. So we partnered with them, branded and marketed their name along with ours along the way, creating. I think I came up with the hashtag, the official beer of fly fishing, or the official beer of fishing. Because that's what they are.
How did guide beer come about? I know that's being phased out finally, but how did guide beer actually? Because when guide beer first came out, it's like, oh, I'm drinking guide beer. I'm supposed to. I mean, I was born to drink guide beer.
Yeah.
How did that come about, or do you know the backstory on that?
Guide beer? Guide beer is interesting. You have a brewery that's a craft brewery that's just, hit it out of the park with the IPAs. Mm-hmm. Their 420 Pale Ale, is their staple, popular brand and really good beer. They came out with the guide beer to give back in the guides. That was the program, but also just an easy drinking lager.
Yeah.
You know, a canned beer that you can have on every boat anywhere. You know, from up in North Georgia down to Florida. And for us, I was probably more excited than anybody because you know when you're trying to tarpon fish in the middle of the heat of the summer.
Yeah.
You have a couple 420s or an IPA, and it's not doing well when it's 95 degrees.
No. But
so
if
the
you have
guide beer
the
came
guide,
out, and
it was perfect.
Yep, 5% ABV, so you know you can drink them all day and sweat it out, and tarpon fish all day, and
Drink them all day.
all day.
All day.
But Sweetwater, you know, they came out with that, and it was a great program. You know, I'm sure they'll come out with something. You know, this year now with something new out there to cater to those fishermen. And you know, a bunch of the fishermen in North Georgia, they love the brewery, and with them being like a fishing brewery, and you know they do a lot of water conservation efforts. They restock the Chattahoochee.
Well, and that was the draw for everyone to drink the stuff is because we're helping our own fishing by drinking beer.
Yep.
I mean, is that genius or what? I was like, hey, I'm drinking beer. I'm helping other anglers out. I mean,
no brainer.
No brainer.
Yep.
Zero no brainer.
So hopefully they come back with something else like that, or at least just the easy drinking beer before tarpon season hits.
So tell me about your son Ethan. Now, I've known Ethan ever since he was a little squirt. I mean, a real little squirt, like probably like 2-3 years old. He's gotten a lot bigger now. He will be bigger than you.
Oh yeah.
And
he's looking at me like this right now.
He loves to fish. Yeah. Loves to fish. And you have been able, through your travels and through being a successful businessman, you've been able to take him places and experience things that most 12-year-old boys have not been able to do or never will do.
Yep. Most grown men probably.
Yeah, even grown men. Tell me more about Ethan's passion for fishing, because I know that he is very well-rounded. It's more than fly fishing with him, because he's out bass fishing now, and he's got the bass bug bad right now.
I think you got to him.
Yeah, and then the whole inshore thing with some spin plug gear has become a bigger and bigger and bigger thing, and there's been a lot of
caster.
A lot of influences on him, but tell me a little bit about what do you see Ethan's path is?
Hopefully he does something other than fishing.
I don't
take over a bunch of bar fly chains or something like that. But no, his passion for fishing has always been there. I started him as a baby. You know, we had a house in Dunedin we were living at when he was born, and 3 years old I would take. I had a short little, like a 7-foot long fly rod, a little 4-weight. And I would string all the line up and everything with a leader there, maybe a piece of yarn or nothing on it at all. And I'd give it to him at 3 years old and let him just
get used to it,
flail away with that thing and go crazy. And I did it just so he was getting comfortable around it and learning to cast. And, you know, I'd let him have fun with it and kind of play with it a little bit and get used to having that at 3.
At 3.
5 years old, I felt he was actually casting and we could put a fly on. And I think I have some video somewhere. We went to a pond and had a fly tied on there with a hook. And he was he's 5 years old. He's a baby. He used to call the hook the ouchie because I taught him right away that there's a sharp object there. So I kind of prick him a little bit and go, ouch, you know. So he knew. And he always called it ouchie. Daddy, can you tie another ouchie on?
Yeah.
So 5 years old, he goes to the pond by himself with the real fly on there with a hook on it.
The ouchie.
At the ouchie. And caught his first fish on fly at 5. You know,
That's
just
awesome.
a little brim and, you know, red bellies.
What's some of his personal best? Because I know he likes to claim that dolphin over your fireplace there at the house or over the TV.
Nice. He loves dolphin on fly. You get out there and those things come. I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? You know.
I'm a child when I see him.
Oh yeah. You get him around the boat and you get the fly rod out and have fun with it. Oh man, there's nothing better. But yeah, he loves that. But he's I think it was 7, 8 years old. We took him to Cayman. It was his first time traveling, you know, out of the country. So we went to Cayman Islands, and he caught his first bonefish on fly.
Wow.
And that was, I mean, my friend over there, Joel Jefferson, he's a guide on Grand Cayman, and he's just become a good friend of our family. And he has a son as well that's younger than Ethan, and so for him and I to watch Ethan walk over to a school bonefish with an 8-weight and cast on his own, and then come tight and watch this bonefish scream off.
It's a beautiful thing.
The first one was the knuckle buster, and that was his first experience with a knuckle buster, which was pretty funny.
Yeah. Because he didn't expect that line to come off that fast.
Yeah, none of us do.
Yeah.
The first time you have something that actually pulls that fly line out that fast and smacking your knuckles up really good.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Oh my gosh!" and it's screaming line off, and it's busting his knuckles, and he looks at me and Joel and says, "What do I do?" And we both said it exactly the same time. Move your hand.
Move your hand.
Move your hand. But yeah, landed a bonefish on fly.
Good for him.
By himself.
Good for him.
He's had shots at permit. I thought he was going to get a permit on fly before me, and I thought if that happens, I'm probably
You're going to be pissed.
Well, I would have cut his line so he never landed. Yeah.
That's what I would do to my
Oh,
son too.
yeah.
I'd do the same thing.
Oh,
There's
for
no
sure.
way he's getting a first before
Yeah,
me.
you're not doing that.
No, not going to happen.
Well,
I've worked too hard. It's owed to me.
The not failed. I don't know.
Well, I definitely somehow want you to make up that Captain and Blondie cocktail before this is all over.
Oh, we have to.
We got to do that.
We've been talking about filming it so people can see how to make
Yeah,
that drink.
that is a great rum cocktail. But I've got 3 questions that I want to ask you first.
All right.
If you could fish or only fish one spot,
Oh,
where would it be?
anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. Whether you fished it yet or wish to fish it. Where would that spot be? I mean, I know you're a Cayman guy.
That's tricky. It wouldn't be somewhere I've never been, even though there's a lot of amazing destinations I'm sure I've read about and dreamed about and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't been there, so you don't know.
So yeah, it's the unknown.
So you can dream about it, but it could be a complete bust out.
Yeah.
I'd probably go back to Belize. I'd fish Belize. Has everything. I caught my first permit there. It was a little guy, but it was a permit.
Yeah.
But I love it there. The culture there is amazing. Hospitality, I work in hospitality. If you really want to learn about hospitality, go see what these folks in Belize do.
I have a friend that lives in Belize, and
Amazing.
he tells me that all the time. He goes, when you get tired of what's going on in the United States, you can move down here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right,
awesome.
Here's a cool question, and a question I've not asked any other personality that I've had on the show before.
Oh.
If you could pick one person to fly fish with out of the all-time greats, past or present, who would it be?
It'd have to be Ethan Finn, my son. He's an all-time great.
He will be.
What?
I got a feeling.
Yeah,
I got a feeling. He will be.
Yeah, I love fishing with my son, not just because he's my son. I tell him this all the time. I say, he's even cool to hang out with.
I used to say very warm, sentimental things about fishing with my son when he was that age. As time's gone on, when people say, do you enjoy fishing with your son? I go, well, I've come to learn that I have to enjoy push-poling my son around. Because he fishes. I really don't actually fish. I kind of push-pole.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen anything with me and him doing anything, he's usually on the bow, and I'm usually on the back.
Yeah.
That poling thing.
So it's not fishing.
I don't think it's in his wheelhouse.
It's not fishing with him. It's guiding
Until
him.
I actually get a power pole move trolling motor on my boat, I'm probably always going to be pulling my boat.
Yeah.
When my son's fishing with me. All right. This is going to be a question I do ask everyone.
All right.
If you weren't the guy that got the barfly going, El Jefe himself, if you weren't this guy, what in the hell would you be doing right now?
I'd probably be a bum, sort of like I am right now. Anyways, eating too much, drinking too much.
No,
partying.
you'd be doing something. What
yeah.
I mean, because we get some crazy answers to this question.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm really probably doing a lot of the art, graphic stuff. You know, I have such a love for that.
Yeah.
And
I have one of your prints up in my shop.
That side of it, I love so much, and that's why even Barfly it allows me to be creative. I do, you know, a lot of the social media stuff and ads and the logos. You know, our Barfly brand, any of the new designs, I'm always working on that stuff. So it gets me to play with that and do what I kind of always wanted to do.
You've done a hell of a job here, and the way we're going to end this one is we're going to take a quick break and then go right back, and you're going to show us how to make that Captain and Blondie drink.
All right.
I think that's the best way to go out, is to make the Captain and Blondie cocktail.
Go out with the cocktail.
That's right. It's the way we roll here at Barfly.
Yeah, even though it's 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm not afraid.
Yeah, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. All right. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back with El Jefe and the new Captain and Blondie cocktail here at the Barfly, Palm Harbor.
All right.
All right, folks. As promised, El Jefe here is going to make the original Captain and Blondie cocktail, inspired by my wife and I's affinity for drinking both rums, because she likes the blonde, I like the dark. So Jeff made it possible so we could enjoy one drink instead of getting 2 bottles.
Perfect.
So how does it work out?
All right, so we have the secret ingredients is the Papa's Pilar. You gotta have that, the blonde and the dark. This drink actually, so we're gonna add some ice in here. Each of these cups, I like a lot of ice. Fill this cup with ice. So I brought some more, brought some extra. Let's fill this bad baby up. This is very basic drink. So those of you that are out there are thinking this is gonna be some super fancy cocktail with all these ingredients. It's very simple, very basic, but it works and it's so tasty. Yeah, and it's really just a play off of some of the common cocktails out there. That's what we do. We do a Papa's Pilar rum runner here, and same thing. It's a rum runner. It's the same recipe as a basic rum runner, but the Pilar in it enhances it to a different level. You have the blonde rum instead of a white silver rum, so that changes the whole game with the flavors that this has, the flavor profiles of this versus just the regular light rum. So, ingredients, we're gonna start out, we have a little measuring cup we like to use instead of free pouring it, so I like to measure cocktails. So one of the things, every cocktail should have about 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces, no more than that. This is a short glass, and we're gonna get 2 ounces total in this, so this is gonna be a good strong drink. But if it's called the Captain and the Blondie, and I know the Captain and the Blondie, they like some cocktails and they like a strong drink. So we're not gonna be
holding back.
We're not gonna be light on it either. So we're gonna do 1 ounce of the blonde. Okay. We do 1 ounce of the blonde. So the blonde is in there. That's the Blondie portion. Then I have Barrett's ginger beer. The thing about this cocktail, you can use a bunch of different ginger beers. This is the best one on the market by far.
I agree.
I've had a lot of different ones, and we're not going to talk about those brands to throw them under the bus. This is by far the best ginger beer on the market. You see this a lot in the Bahamas. That's where actually they drink this as a regular soda, like in the Bahamas.
Right.
A ginger beer. So we fill the glass. So we fill the glass almost all the way up with the ginger beer. So we're not even measuring this out. It's basically the blonde rum and the ginger beer.
A lot like a mule.
Leave that there. This is pretty much, before I finish, I'll just tell you, this is pretty much like a dark and stormy, is all it is. It's a variation of a dark and stormy. So the secret, we have the blonde and the ginger beer in it. We want to roll this to mix it up, to get that nice and mixed. That's your main cocktail. Get this good and mixed. You don't want to put it in a shaker and shake it up, because just like soda and everything else, it's going to be everywhere, all over the place. So all we do is just roll it over to mix it up. Now we got the dark, the Papa's Pillar Dark, and we're gonna go with. There we go. So it's a trick. So this is an ounce of the dark. We got an ounce of the blonde in there with the ginger beer, ounce of the dark. And I'm gonna show you this so you can see, because this is the cool part.
Yeah, this is the.
So we just do this dark floater. This is the captain.
Yeah, it's me floating.
He's the floater. All right.
That's a cool looking drink.
And then this thing's leaking all over the place. I'm going heavy on the actual captain. I'm going heavy on his drink because I know he likes it a little heavier. So we're gonna float that on there. Got that nice float. Presentation wise,
It's beautiful.
you can see super cool presentation. Your first sip, you're sipping that rum neat, which is awesome. Some people are shocked by that. If you're not used to just sipping this neat, a regular drinker is gonna go, ooh, that's pretty strong. What I like to do, a little secret just to top this off, is I take just a splash of this ginger beer and then put it on the top to break that up. And break it up a little bit so you're not just getting pow hit with that straight rum. Basically, a dark and stormy.
I love
You like to get pow? Well, I got a good float on yours, so you might get a little pow. This is a dark and stormy variation. Blonde rum, dark rum, the captain and the blondie. You can come to Barfly Palm Harbor, Barfly Safety Harbor, ask for it. It's not on the menu. Most of the bartenders know how to make it. If they don't, have them watch the podcast.
Yeah, have them watch
and
the
do it.
podcast.
Yeah, we might have to take this video and launch it on YouTube because you're going to get asked a lot. Like, I need to see that.
Yeah.
And I want to rewind it, watch it over, and
Every time we
check
do
out.
it, why don't we just do it live so I can just drink one every time we do it?
Well, I wanted to do one live with you for a while, but I'll have to be honest. I had to drink a lot of them before I was really ready for this.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
a lot.
okay.
So I've accomplished that. So we're good to go.
Cheers.
Cheers, Captain and the Blondie.
Number 38, the Barfly, El Jefe.
Mm.
Cheers.